Hello and welcome to www.luxurytolast.com. Today we're talking watch collecting, and most importantly of any collector, we're talking watch collecting and hiding it from your wife. Very important topic. One of the reasons I believe watch collecting has had huge growth over the last 10 to 20 years has been the fact that watches are small suckers that can easily be hidden from your loved one, girlfriend, or business partner or wife. One of the downsides of having a fancy new Ferrari, Corvette or Mercedes-Benz is it stands out like dog's balls. However, with watches, you can very discreetly change pieces without most people even noticing. So this is fantastic for the watch collector slash enthusiast who's gone a bit overboard. Now, the wonderful thing too is with watch collecting is that if you play your pieces right, you can have a huge collection without anyone even realizing. Now let's have a look at this in some detail there. So what you can always do is you can have a little safe at home or in the office or in the garage where you can lock your pieces away safely without anyone prying into your collection. Now the beautiful thing about the mini watches is that unless you're a real enthusiast, you really wouldn't see much difference. For example, a Calatrava Patek Philippe in white gold looks very similar to, say, a Longines in steel. A Rolex Submariner in steel looks very similar to a Rolex Explorer 2 in steel. And this can be used to your advantage. I know one particular collector who has a full assortment of steel Rolex sports watches, and the wife thinks he's got one watch, when in fact he's got about 20. In his collection, he's got a 14060 no date sub. He's got the date sub, the 16610. He's got the Sapphire Sea Dweller. He's got the Explorer 2 black dial. He's got the Explorer 1. He's got the GMT with 3 different variations of dials. He's got a Rolex Daytona, and he's also got a steel Datejust. Now on top of that there, he's got about 10 assorted vintage pieces, and as far as the wife is concerned, he's got 1 or 2 beautiful Rolexes. So that's 20 pieces hidden without anyone really knowing. The other thing is, I mean, if you look at the packaging on a Patek Philippe, I know I've got a Patek Philippe Calatrava in white gold, and the brand Patek Philippe is certainly the Rolls Royce of brands. It's the holy grail piece for myself, but it really doesn't look spectacular compared to, say, a steel Longines on a leather strap. And this is particularly useful if you want to discreetly introduce that piece to your collection. The other great thing is that watches are small suckers. You can put them into a briefcase, into a safe, into a drawer, into a bank safety deposit box. Try doing that with a second-hand vintage Mercedes. Not so easy. So that's a very, very convenient thing about watches, and it's wonderful having such a small collectible thing. And as one very famous collector said he'd rather drive a diesel people carrier than have mundane watches. And that's certainly bit of advice there. I mean, maybe you can pretend to have the people carrier and have a growing, beautiful collection of design icons. The other great thing is that with many pieces themselves there, they have many upside as far as investments go. So, I mean, you could always toe the line that you're actually buying them for investment and you've turned it into another piece. And if you do that fast enough and change them enough, no one's going to really know or be any the wiser. With white gold gaining popularity, I mean, how would anyone know whether that white gold sub on your wrist is a white gold sub or is it a steel sub? And obviously the blue bezel and dial, but that's only if you know what you're talking about. Most people wouldn't have a clue what they are. The other thing you can do if you're trying to explain your collection, you could always say, oh no, that's just a knockoff. Do people really know? And certainly prying eyes, you could keep them at bay for a while by using that line. The other thing is too, I mean, what's really wrong with having truth in a relationship. And that gets into a situation where as soon as you start mentioning that you want another watch when you've already got 5 or 6, they're going to say, well, the kitchen needs doing, the laundry needs a fixing, and just becomes a general pain in the ass. And I mean, it's your money, you've worked hard, and you should be able to spend it on what you damn well feel like. You don't need to explain it to anyone. And that's the beautiful thing with watch collecting. It's one of the few hobbies that you can have where you can hide how much money you've pumped into it very easily. I hope you've enjoyed this clip. Don't forget to come to my free reference library website, www.luxurytolast.com. Heaps of free advice. And just make sure the wife doesn't watch this video. Thank you.